Welcome back to the Say86 Podcast, the show where we explore the realities of running a hospitality business today, from the inspiring to the infuriating and everything in between. Today's episode is one I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, because I don't think the industry fully understands just how destructive this is becoming. We're looking at chargeback fraud, a crisis happening in real time, silently draining money from restaurants, cafés, hotels, bakeries, bars, and anyone who takes a card payment. Imagine this. A guest enjoys their meal, they leave in a great mood. They pay by card, thank the staff, and walk out the door. A few days later, that same guest contacts their bank and simply says, "I don't recognize that payment," and the bank refunds them just like that. There's no phone call to the restaurant, no investigation, no evidence required. The money is simply gone. And the restaurant, after dealing with labor shortages, rising costs, supply chain issues, and tight margins, has to swallow it. This is becoming every day across the UK, and it's not slowing down. Before we dive into specific cases, let's step back and talk about the environment hospitality is operating in right now. Costs are up, footfall is unpredictable, customers' expectations are higher than ever, staffing is a daily battle, energy bills have skyrocketed, and rent hasn't softened. The smallest disruption, a fridge breakdown, a staff illness, a mystery delivery, can wipe out a whole day's profit. Now imagine adding legalized theft into that environment. That's essentially what chargeback fraud is. And what makes it particularly lethal is that hospitality model is built on trust. People walk in, sit down, eat, drink, enjoy an experience and leave. There are no signatures, no ID checks, no proof of presence, unless you want to start photographing every customer holding their meal like it's an airport security, which of course no one wants. It's a system built on good faith, and that's exactly what's being exploited. Let's talk about 40 Dean Street, because their story is one that resonates deeply with operators across the country. It's a small, family-run Italian restaurant in Soho, run by siblings who've poured 15 years of their life into the business. They've survived recessions, extortionate central London rents, COVID lockdowns, staff shortages, you name it. But what's happening now is something they've never seen before. Over the last 3 months, they've lost around about £5,000 to fraudulent chargebacks. On average, that's around about £500 to £600 a week disappearing from their account. Gone. Just gone. They're not a luxury tasting menu restaurant charging £180 a head. Their average bill is £60 to £100 for 2 people. They're not gouging prices. They're not doing anything out of the ordinary. They simply serve honest, homemade Italian food. Yet week after week, they receive notices from their payment processor telling them a customer has disputed a transaction for a meal they consumed, a meal they enjoyed. They describe the situation as daylight robbery, and that's exactly what it is. You can hear the exhaustion in their voices. They're working 14 hours a day. They're constantly on their feet. They don't have big corporate budget, a legal team, or a customer service department. They have themselves, their staff, and their community. And they're being punished for simply running a restaurant. Here's the brutal truth. The chargeback system was never designed for fast-paced, in-person hospitality. It was built decades ago to protect customers from stolen credit cards or unauthorized online transactions. In that context, it makes sense. But hospitality has become an unintended casualty because the rules haven't been adapted to the modern world. So here's how the process typically works. A customer tells their bank they don't recognize a payment. The bank immediately refunds the money. And in most cases, the restaurant hasn't even been notified yet. The money has just simply been removed. Then the restaurant receives a request to provide proof that the transaction was legitimate. But what proof do you have? A card receipt shows the card has been used, but that doesn't prove the customer was present. A till receipt confirms the total, but doesn't prove the cardholder is actually the one who ate the meal. CCTV, if you even have it, doesn't reliably show a close-up of someone tapping a card. You can provide everything you have and still lose. Banks almost always side with the customer because it's cheaper to refund them than to investigate the claim. And customer knows this. Word spreads. Groups on Reddit discuss it openly. Some people treat it like a travel hack. And while it might feel harmless to them, it's only £60 for a small operator, that £60 could be the difference between paying a staff member that day or not. Let's talk about the emotional toll. Operators tell us that when a chargeback notification comes through, it feels like a punch to the stomach. Not because of the amount, although it hurts, but because of the betrayal. Restaurants bend over backwards to give guests good experiences. They comp dishes when things go wrong. They fix mistakes. They absorb rising prices. They do everything in their power to protect their reputation. So when someone enjoys a meal, smiles at the server, compliments the chef, and then files a fraudulent claim, it feels deeply personal. Some operators say it makes them second-guess humanity, and that sounds dramatic. But when this happens repeatedly, it wears you down, especially in an industry where everything already feels like a battle. Let's explore more real experiences. These are all true situations shared by operators across the country. A couple sat through a 3-course anniversary dinner costing £140. Thanked the staff, even left a glowing review online. The next day they disputed the transaction, the bank refunded them, and the restaurant lost the money. An 8-person group came in on a busy Saturday night. They were demanding, they required extra attention, and the kitchen had to push hard to meet their requests. A few days later, the entire £220 was clawed back. The customers didn't even answer the restaurant's follow-up. A cafe introduced a simple £20 no-show fee because they were losing hundreds a month to empty tables. A customer booked, didn't show up, got charged a fee. They then claimed they didn't recognize the charge, refunded instantly by the bank. And it goes beyond restaurants. Online cookery schools have people attend an entire class, sometimes a 2-hour session, and then dispute the charge. Hospitality consultants experience this too. Small event caterers, private dining chefs, pastry teachers, all hit by the same loophole. The stories are endless and infuriating. So what needs to change? Let's look at some solutions because this isn't something hospitality can fix alone. Banks need to update their verification process. Payment processors need to introduce better merchant-side protections. Legislators may need to create a dispute route that acknowledges the realities of in-person transactions. Perhaps restaurants could opt into a system where customers authenticate transactions using biometric ID, like Face ID, for payments over a certain amount. Maybe there needs to be a hospitality protection scheme built into card processing fees, or a fund to protect small businesses specifically. The chargeback process needs more nuance. Not every claim should be treated equally, and patterns should be tracked. If a customer disputes 3 restaurant payments in 6 months, that behavior needs investigation. This isn't about punishing customers, it's about fairness. So what's the future of hospitality payments? There is hope. Fintech companies are experimenting with new fraud detection tools. Some hotels are already using pre-authorization systems that reduce disputes. Certain card providers are testing merchant verification tools for physical transactions. There's restaurants in the US that are experimenting with QR code pre-check systems where disputes can be connected to a specific device or account. Some systems even offer automated dispute mediation tools. Innovation is coming, but it's slow. The question is, will the hospitality industry survive long enough to see these changes if things continue as they are? Chargeback fraud is a crisis hiding in plain sight. It's not a headline problem, it's not a political debate topic, but it's pushing already vulnerable operators closer to breaking point. Hospitality is built on trust, care, craft, graft, and community. It deserves a fair system, it deserves protection, at the very least it deserves a voice. If you're an operator listening to this and you've been affected, share your story. Post it online, send it to us, send it to your MP, tell your bank. The more noise we make, the harder it becomes to ignore. And if you're a customer listening, please understand that your actions matter, your honesty matters. Businesses are fighting to survive. This has been the Say86 Podcast. Thank you for spending time with me today, and thank you for fighting for hospitality. See you next time.